I was born at the prime years of the civil war. When I was born, my father was killed in the process of the war, and then 6 months later I was born. So it was difficult for my mother, who was a widow, to take care of us. But she endured. She's a very hardworking woman. Power makes people drunk. It's just like drinking. When you drink, the more you drink, the more you get drunk.
Deborah Akech Kuocnin, Undersecretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sports in South Sudan, a peace builder, a public servant, and one of South Sudan's leading voice for youth and peace. I am Aya Chebbi, and this is Africa Link, where we sit in conversation with Africa's boldest change makers. Today, we talk feminism, peace building, and belonging, and most importantly, what it means to rebuild peace for Africa's future. Welcome, Deborah.
Thank you, Aya. Nice to see you again.
Yes, always a pleasure. Looking back at your childhood, what does the word home mean to you?
Yeah, it's quite an emotional question. Yeah, but home to me is, first of all, is where I grew up, where I was born, and where I started to get to know what the world is made of, where I started facing challenges, and where I started growing as well. So that is home to me, and it's always good to be back home. Home to me is not South Sudan. Home is where I was born, where my umbilical cord was buried. And whenever I go there, my uncles would come and they would praise God for keeping me safe and then sprinkle some water on my feet. So when they do that, I feel completely at peace and at home. Yes.
That's beautiful. What kind of child were you? Were you a troublemaker? Were you quiet? Were you vocal?
Really, my childhood was a quiet one. I never used to talk. And really, it's some people now, when they see me talking on the TV, on podcasts like this, they'll be like, where did she get the courage from? She was always the quiet one. Yeah, I have been quiet from childhood. Even when I completed my primary school, I was still the quiet type. I started talking in secondary school when I was now given the leadership of being the head girl of the school. And you know, when you are in a leadership position, you have to talk to tell people this is how we want to do things, and we should not do the things this way. So if you are quiet, leaders are talkative. So I learned to talk from high school when I became the head prefect of the school. Yeah, and I think that is what has shaped me to be able to have the courage to be in the spotlight like this.
Your classmates and schoolmates, did they see you? How did they see you as a leader?
My classmates and schoolmates, during that time, they actually saw a leader in me, where I represented my class in a class representative to the Students' Council in primary school. And that time, interestingly, it was competitive. I was competing with a male, with a male student. And I won the elections, and I was the class representative to the Student Council. And that was in class 8. Yeah, the end of my primary school. Yeah, so from that time is when I knew that my classmates saw a leader in me, and that they could give me the opportunity. Instead of giving it to the boy, they gave it to me. And I did well. I represented them well in the Students' Council.
You lived through displacement, and growing up also you witnessed the war. How was that journey?
I'm going to take us back a little bit to my childhood, and the displacement years later. My childhood in my village, it was a small village within South Sudan, in Lake State, and I was born at the prime years of the civil war. So if I say that By the time I was born, there was a gunshot. Not many people would believe it. But then that enters the mind of a small child born, and the first thing you hear is the gunshot. When I was born, my father was killed in the process of the war. And then 6 months later, I was born. And that is actually what the meaning of my name, Akech, is a child born after the father has passed on. Yeah. So it was difficult for my mother, who was a widow, to take care of us. But she endured. She's a very hardworking woman that I know of. So in my village, we are also bordering a community that have been in historical conflict with my community. So there have been wars that they fought, where all the elder male children were killed, remaining only maybe 10 years, but they killed all the elders that were men. Yeah. So the small children from age 10 had to grow up and build another community, and their fathers and all were all killed in one war between us and that community. So this community still insisted, and at one point also cooperated with the Khartoum government. They were used as militias against neighboring communities. And so that is how my village fell into the hands of these neighbors through the support of the Sudan government, the Khartoum regime that time, and were displaced. So we moved to another village that is 100 kilometers away from my village. And this is the village where I got the opportunity to go to school. So also my life, it was not a smooth childhood, to be honest. It was not a smooth childhood. Having no father, my mother a widow without any education, only surviving on what we do, peasant farmers in our farm. So at one point, half of the years of my primary school, I had no other clothes apart from the uniform that I wear when I go to school. Yeah, I think the first time I started having extra was when I was in grade 5. Yeah, that is when. So most of the time I would go to school, yes, with a uniform, and for me not to make it get worn out before the next, and I may wait for 2 years before I get the ability to afford a new uniform. So what I would do is when I reach home, in our home, in our small tukul there, I would remove the uniform and I can walk around in the compound naked, 100% naked. Yeah, these are things that when people talk about, those who never experienced this will say, no, this is not possible, but it was possible. I am saying it from my experience, and I'm saying it from what I have gone through. And where I did not lose my vision is when I got the opportunity to go to school. I knew what I was looking for. I knew my goal. So I fixed my eyes on that goal. And I think this is where I am today. From that humble beginnings to sitting together, discussing with Aya on the international media, yeah, that is something that I'm grateful for.
That's incredible. That's amazing. And you are now a mother of 5.
Yes.
So how is it being a mother, and also how do you see your kids when they look at you as an example? What do you want them to see as a leader?
Yeah, being a mother is a beautiful journey. It has its own challenges. Yes, my children were lucky to have me, and they were lucky to have their father, who is also educated. But then even now, when I tell them, they'll be like, "No, Mom, you did not go through that," because every time I really do not show them that I had a vulnerable childhood. I present myself to them as their mentor, as their mother, as their comforter, as their guardian, and also overall as someone they can confide in. I encourage them and prepare them that life is not as comfortable as they are in the house. It will be harder at some point, and I may not be there to support them. I always tell them, respect yourselves, respect your siblings, each other as siblings, Also respect the person that you meet, be it your playmate in the playground, your schoolmate. That should always reflect.
Respect is your number one value.
Yes, respect is number one value.
So we're gonna play a game. You ready?
Okay.
So the game is called Truth or False. So I'll give you a statement, you tell me true or false, and you tell me why.
Okay.
People always change with power.
It's true. Why do I say so? Is that we have countless scenarios where somebody that we look at to be a good leader, once they get power, they completely change. You will not notice that this is the person that you really believed in could be a good leader. Another thing is power makes people drunk. It's just like drinking. When you drink, the more you drink, the more you get drunk. So it's the same. The much power someone has in their hands, they become uncontrollable and they become obsessed with power, that they forget what values they wanted to come and instill in people when they come into power.
Do you think there are good leaders who go into broken systems and they cannot do much about it, though they change, but it's because the system is so broke that...
Yes, I also agree that there are good leaders that get corrupted because the system they inherited is also corrupted. Yeah, and that is also, it can be two things. If someone has been given the powerful position and the system is broken, at the early years of their leadership, as they try to navigate on how to put the system right back on track, we cannot really expect much from them. But then, if you continue with the broken system, then it is not the system that is broken. It is you that has also been broken by the system to the point that you cannot correct the brokenness.
Can't fix it.
Yeah. Then the problem is not now the brokenness of the system. It is you, the leader now, who is not trying to change things. You want the status quo to remain the way it is.
You can lead and still be afraid.
Yes, it is true. First, leaders are also human beings. They have their own fears, and there are areas where they can be strong. And the fear comes in the area where we spoke about the broken system. When someone is inheriting the broken system, and actually the people that made it broke are still in charge, you can fear for your own life that if you don't continue to keep the system broken the way it is, they may as well get rid of you. So the fear comes in for your own life. And then the other is the fear that what you want to do, the vision that you wanted to come and do, may not be realized because the same people that made the system broken are still in charge, and they may not allow you to do any changes. So the fear that what you want to do for the general public may not be done because your hands are tied. So yes, someone can be a leader and still has fears of failure, fear for one's life. The general public will also say that, oh, so and so we had hope in him or her that they would come and make the system, but they don't know what challenges you are going on internally. So it can be three aspects of fear.
Yeah, you're afraid to disappoint people who put their trust in you.
Yes, who will put their trust in you.
Third statement, the government can be feminist.
Yes. From our lenses as feminists, the government can be. But from the lenses of our counterparts, the men, they still say that it is not yet time for women. But I believe if more women are given leadership positions, they will change the governments to the better. Because women are compassionate, they are also emotional. There is a statement that they used to say that if women are given leadership, yes, there will be no wars, but there will be a bunch of countries not talking to each other. Yes. So I think that was that time. But now with education, the interaction, the exposure, the women are even more better negotiators. in times of conflict than men.
But they have always been, because they run the households. I mean, even pre-colonial Africa, they have been the negotiators in the house, among the siblings. Actually, they're the ones hands-on. The dad is always outside.
Always, yeah. So women are always the good negotiators in conflict situation.
I like that you said emotional as a positive trait, because usually people say women are emotional as something negative, but you see it in leadership as we have to be sensitive.
Yeah, it is. Emotions for us women is that you feel bad when something bad happens to another human being. It doesn't really necessarily have to be someone I'm related to. If I see someone being beaten on the streets of Nairobi, I will shed tears because of the mistreatment that this person is going through. I do not know the person, but I just feel that is the positivity of the emotions of us as women. Yes, many people, especially our counterparts, the men, they say that women are emotional to mean that they are sensitive to any little thing that has been done, so they get angry and they all this. So it depends on how the person looks at it. In that sense, it is positive. Yeah, it's positive for women.
You were appointed state minister before you were appointed Undersecretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sport, which is deputy minister, right? Like as a position, minister. Right? Your first day in government, walking into a system that you watched from outside. Tell me about that first day.
This was in 2021 when I was appointed as State Minister of Labor and Public Service. I walked into a broken system. Yes, because we have been in war right from 2013 December up to 2018 when the peace agreement was signed. The states were divided into 32, now bringing them back again to 10. So it was a system that was already confused. The things that encouraged me or that motivated me to actually be part of the government was the women representation. According to the agreement, there was 35% women representation in all levels of government. And so I said, okay, if women have 35%, and if we don't show up for the 35%, the men will occupy it. So I showed up, knowing that the system was confused, but still believe that I can still be part of making it a better system. Yeah, so the first day was first we had the swearing in, and then we went to, I was introduced to the office officially. My first experience was the people that looked at me that time, they did not see a leader, they saw a young girl. So many of them would refer to me, this young girl is the minister, because we are used to seeing old women and old men occupying such positions. Yeah, so they never said it to my face, but they would say it among themselves. That time I already have my 5 children. So I was really not.
And you were 34, I think, at the time, yeah.
Yeah, I just said, okay, yes, I may look young, but what I have in my brain is not young. It can help us build our country and our state.
So most people think that we fight for female representation in government, and then once we take the oath, we won. But actually, the challenge starts when you're now inside and you have to face ageism and misogyny on a daily basis.
Yes.
So what was that experience for you? Okay, some people didn't say it on your face, but how did that really make it hard for you to do your job?
One thing with me, Aya, is that I have gone through hardships during my childhood, that what people say against me, whether in my face or behind my back, really does not worry me anymore, because I am here and I am here to stay. So the best thing is they better start accepting the truth, yes, and get used to it. They should start accepting the truth. So I really worry less about what people say. And most of the times when I have to argue my points, one thing that I have removed from my arguments is to say that, are you doing this to me because I am a woman? No, I don't say that, because it even makes me more vulnerable in their eyes. So if I have to argue my point, I argue it without mentioning the word that I am a woman. for them to know that we can actually argue on similar ideas without bringing in our gender aspect.
Yeah, you're a leader first. It's not the gender that should be the focus.
So they have to respect me as a leader.
South Sudan lived through conflict, independence first, and then conflict, and it has been continuous, but then peace processes, different ones, and all of this in a decade or so. What's the hardest truth about leading a country that is still healing from war?
The hardest truth is people telling each other the truth of exactly what went wrong. When we accept the truth that we have failed or we have contributed to the internal conflicts, we will start seeing the light. But what I see is that as leaders, people are living in denial, each blaming the other. Oh, it is you, it is the other one. Instead of having a collective responsibility that, yes, we have made a mistake, can we come back to the table and make it right?
How do we move forward?
Yes, and forge the way forward so that the next generation do not continue to suffer. But no one is accepting the fault of having created the conflict. So they are pointing fingers at each other. So that is the hardest truth, to admit that we are wrong and that we want to correct the mistake that we have done. That is the hardest truth that a country that is in conflict can ever accept. Yeah.
You lead youth and sports in South Sudan, and we know that South Sudan's population is probably the most youthful population, over 70% under the age of 30. What do you think are the opportunities for young people?
It's true that the population of South Sudan youth is about 72% under 30 years. And we always say that the youth are the future leaders of any country that has youth. What I see is that for us to prepare the youth to be future leaders, we need to give them all the preparation, all the skills that are needed, all the experience, the exposure that is needed for them to be the future leaders. At the very first is the education. Our system of education is not favoring the youth of South Sudan. We need to improve our education. We need to also have vocational training for the youth. We understand that not everyone can afford the university education, but if someone cannot afford university education, they have to branch to the TVET or to the vocational training. And one good thing with the vocational training is that it is not limited to those that have formal education, even those that have not gone to school, because it's mostly a hands-on training.
Yeah.
So some youth can get skills by trained on hands-on skills, while others get certificated training at the TVET. So this is one aspect that can also develop a country, that can instill skills in the youth and prepare them for self-employment as well as salaried employment with other employers.
How far are you in these programs as a ministry?
We are partnering with the international partners to do training to the youth. And so far, the last time we check our statistics, we have more than 6,000 youth that have been trained on vocational skills. The challenge is that the environment where for them now to put into practice the skills they have gained is still not favorable as well, because we have one challenge: access to finance or access to credits, where if a youth has an idea and want to start business, they cannot access loans. Yeah, our banking industry still does not give loans, so they still struggle with the idea without source of funding. So the moment we take care of the security of the country, the banks will be comfortable lending their money to business people, and they know that their money will be paid back. Yeah, so this the vocational training aspect has succeeded, but then there's still challenges.
The jobs now.
Yeah, the jobs are the challenge, employment.
Where are you aiming to be next in government?
Yeah, it's a tricky question, but I want to go gradually in the government. because right now the next step is to be a minister. Having been Undersecretary, is to be the minister. Maybe to shift from youth to another ministry, the same level of Undersecretary, is what I'll be looking forward to. But in a few years' time, I have my eyes on the ministry
minister position.
yes.
We
Yes,
look
I have
forward
my
to
eyes
seeing
on
you a
that.
minister. I already call you minister, so
yes, you call me the.
so another game.
Mm.
It's called Justice or Just Us. So justice, it means it's you agree with it, it's fair. Just Us means it's hypocritical, it's broken. Peace without women is still peace.
That's just us. That's just the men saying that that they can do everything without the women participation and all is good. Yeah, there's no fairness in that. Women are important aspects, important players of the society.
Yeah, we're commemorating this year the Women, Peace and Security Agenda, Resolution 1325. And you think South Sudanese women are at the peace table?
Yeah, I would say yes. The South Sudanese women in the 2018 peace agreement, there were women at the negotiating table, but we need to do more.
Beyond representation.
Yes, we need to do more. Even representation itself, we need to also increase the number of women. The more women voices we have at the negotiating table, the more we will realize peace. Women should be the head of the negotiating delegation, because that way we would have made the important people that that are good at negotiating be in charge. And the peace processes that take years to agree would take a shorter period if women are the ones leading the negotiations.
So let's play build, ban, or break. So I'll give you a statement. You can build on it. You can ban it completely, or you can break it and start something new. Yeah. Youth quotas in government. Build, ban, or break.
There are countries that have youth quota in the governments, but it is not to our desired stage. So we want to build on the quota that is already there and take it to a level that favors the youth, and that also gives them much more freedom to participate.
Do you have quotas in South Sudan for youth?
It is not really stated right now.
You have for women?
There is, yes, but we have for women.
International NGOs running national programs. Do we build, ban, or break?
I think we need to break them. Yeah, we need to break them. When a country is still at the beginning, like in the situation of South Sudan, we may accept the international organizations to come and support in running some of the national programs. But as we progress, that shouldn't be the case. Somebody or countries need to be let alone to stand on their feet, to start walking. When they fall, they will wake up and walk again. But when we keep on doing the programs for them, they'll be used to that, and they will stop addressing their own issues as a country. So we need to break them and start building national programs and implementing them as a nation. Yeah.
So online activism, will you build on it, ban, or break? And we live in a continent that has a lot of countries that shut down the internet, especially during election time.
Yeah, I think online activism is what connects the activists across the continent. It is picked up very fast by different activists from different countries. Let me give an example of Tanzania when the elections were ongoing. Whatever that was happening there, the Tanzanian activists picked it up. They made it known to the continent, and although the internet was later on shut down, already the rest of Africa know what is happening in Tanzania. Online activism is good. It can be built on so that a situation in one country can be known in other parts of Africa.
What did you think about what happened in Tanzania?
My sincere speaking is that I still have doubts until now that she has actually done all that people are talking about on media. I still doubt because my belief all along is that women cannot go to that extent of maybe wanting to eliminate their opponents and also wanting to be dictators. That may even deter or may even prevent other African countries to give leadership to women. That even my ambition now will be limited because they say, no, we saw one woman in Tanzania, so we don't want others. And they are still the decision makers. They are still the ones in power. If all that was written about her was true, then she has put our leadership as women at risk.
Women are also part of political parties, and they don't just represent, they're not actually representing their gender, they represent their ideologies.
The ideology of the
So
party.
there are far-right, women who are in power and who are carrying the agenda of their far-right political parties, right? We have an expectation of what women would lead, and then we don't have that leadership. We dissociate her from her political agenda, and we just think of her as a woman.
I gave those who attacked me an example of Ellen Johnson, Joyce Bandau in Malawi, and I told them there are women that have really led their countries, and when it came to election, they willingly gave over the power. So you cannot use this one single woman as a yardstick to measure.
Single story.
Yeah, you cannot use her as a yardstick to measure all the women leaders in Africa or around the world.
So we come to the end of our conversation, Deborah. I want us to look into the future. Let's time travel, to the future. And South Sudan maybe in 2050.
South Sudan in 2050, it will be better than the way it is today. And I see more women in leadership positions by 2050.
So the headline you want about yourself in 2050, what would the headline be?
25 years is a long time that I would be vice president that time.
Let's go.
That is if I play my games well.
Let's go.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you too, Aya.
From the streets of Juba to the corridors of government, Deborah Akech Kuocnin showed us that leadership begins long before a title. Her story reminds us that youth are not waiting to be invited, they are already at the table, redesigning what it means to have justice, dignity, and peace for a new generation. I am Aya Chebbi, this is Africa Link. Until next time, stay bold, stay African, and stay building the future.